So I'm delighted to bring on our next guest, Dr. Kevin Rigley, who is the founder of Rethinking Neurodiversity. His work explores cognition, neurodivergence, environment, genetics, childhood, and you bring an important perspective to the discussion because Michael's work reminds us that the brain is built through biology, nutrition, obviously the mother and the wider environment playing a hugely significant role. And your work asks us to think about the conditions in which children develop, learn and thrive. So Kevin, first question, neurodiversity is often presented as something wholly positive in the sense that we all have different brains. That's what makes us unique. Neurodiversity is, tell us more about neurodiversity in your mind.
Yeah, I think it came from Judy Singer,
yes.
And she used the word diversity. She took it from biodiversity.
Yes.
And everybody seems to think, reifies biodiversity because it's something that we see in the canopies and it's beautiful.
Yes.
But as my daughter pointed out to me after doing a poem, when you go below the canopy, there's struggles and there's fierce struggles for food and there's cannibalism, they're killing each other. And as they said, Tennyson, nature is red in tooth and claw. So that beautiful diversity comes with some collateral damage under the canopy. And as an immunologist, I can say that diversity is great for the population. So when we get an infection, there's somatic hypermutation in the immunoglobulin gene, so you get a better fit for that virus. So the population gets affected. But that same process can lead to autoimmunity. So there's collateral damage at the individual level. So, and that's no different to neurodiversity. And we're asked not to use the word normal. When I use the word normal, I'm using it as a mathematical distribution. So society makes that call throughout the hundreds of thousands of years of what kind of neurotype that we'd like to see. And neurodiversity is no different. When we look at the diversity in terms of neurotypes that are emerging, we can see that there's an increase now in autism and ADHD. And we've looked for a genetic component, and there's no silver bullet. It's not like eye color.
Yes.
It could be thousands of these genes, and it's emergent. And as a reductionist, this was the biggest change for me, is that going from reductionism to emergence. So there's these thousands of different unique polygenic architectures within the children that we have at the school. We don't know. We're not going to measure their polygenic architecture. So what my wife did all those years ago was to sort of say, what is childhood? And we again, today, we don't answer that question. According to the government, childhood is about getting children school ready. I think, and what Galena said, was that childhood is about becoming curious, kind, resilient.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? So that was the why. And then how was through nutrition, through movement, through practicing gratitude, and from community.
Yes.
Now, going back to my own personal story, how I stumbled into this. When my first wife passed away, I was giving around talks. I was in a bar in San Francisco giving a talk, and I was almost boasting that I've got two nannies, not one, two nannies looking after my 7 and 5-year-old in London. And a guy says to me, well, why are you doing this? I said, for my boys. And he said, the boys you never see. And so I had no idea. So I came back to London, resigned, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Gosh.
Wow. And about 7 months later, two letters came through the post in that same week. One was for a nursery for sale in Wimbledon. Another was a check for her life insurance. And the sums are almost identical. So I just bought nurseries and had no idea what I was getting into.
What a story. It's incredible.
So it goes on because then I remarried and realized how much I'd screwed up in my, doing all the right things. I remember videos in their room, their TVs in their room, computers in their room, and after dinner, they'd go into the rooms, and again, I'd be boasting, look what my children have got. What
All
a
these screens.
What a cock up, you know. And when I met Nadira at Galena, and she introduced those 4 foundations of nutrition, movement, gratitude, and community, the nutrition and the sort of movement I kind of got as a scientist, but the gratitude and the community were a bit woo-woo at the time. But if I didn't want to stay married, I wouldn't have agreed to it. But it turns out they're all anti-inflammatory. And as an immunologist, that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I was coming across, I was writing after Galena died, I was writing to Ofsted, and I realized at that time, I had no idea how children learn. And I came across a paper where a neuron was secreting IL-6. And I'd worked on IL-6 as an inflammatory cytokine back in the 1980s. And I thought, wow, I wonder if that would make synapses express CD47, which is a don't eat me molecule, which I'd worked on in the 90s. And sure enough, it did. And so that led to a book called SIPS, S for the sympathetic, I for the immune system, and P for the parasitic nervous systems. It was a category error because I'd assumed, again, this is where my love of Wittgenstein comes in. We can use the same terms. Well, philosophy gets into trouble when language goes on holiday. Now, IL-6 was an inflammatory cytokine because it was discovered in the immune system. Muscles secrete it, and neurons secrete it. If I'm sure if it was discovered in neurons, it'd be called something else. Yeah, and so the SIPS was a category error, but it was real. And so when we come back to what is childhood, and it's about being curious, I've been quite lucky with my children that I've cooked all the time from fresh food, just because I like doing it.
Yes, you enjoy
not because I was told to do it. And we'd eat together every day. Community.
Yes.
Having a chat.
Yeah.
Preparing the food. So that's the cognition. I mean, the nutrition is the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I see it as one equilibrium amongst others.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the Willow's way, you know, so you've got sort of from the outside, you've got nutrition, you've got movement, you've got community and cognition, and they've got these internal equilibria, and cognition is just one of them.
Yes.
The immune system, when you get an infection, that's going to disturb the other equilibria.
That's
The way I try and explain it is that if you can imagine a body of water moving up and down, that's what I call the intrastate. And there's a ball, it might be the brain, it could be the immune system. It's not detecting anything, it's just responding. And that's what I call the equilibrium of equilibria, the introstate.
Yes.
And so I'd like that the introstate is a measure of the ability of all of these different equilibria just moving up and down naturally. There's no brain there detecting anything. It's just responding.
Yeah.
And so that led to what I published just last year, a new model of cognition called TGTS, Thought Generator, Thought Selector. And the thought generator really is, I guess it aligns more to the default mode network, where we're just generating thoughts. You could be in the shower and a thought would come. You're not quite sure where it's come from. And if you're anxiety or anxious, it will stay there. So your first thought is not yours. But if you're lucky, you'll be able to reflect. So Frankl would say that the space between the stimulus and the response is the pause. But to be able to pause, we have to feel safe.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the problem, is that below conscious awareness, we're chronically inflamed, low-level inflammation. And I remember giving a talk at the neurodiversity conference last year.
Neurobloom, yeah.
My resting heart rate is usually 59 to 60. But at that time, it was 78.
Yeah.
But the only reason I knew that was my watch told me.
Yeah.
So below conscious awareness, I was stressed.
Yes.
But not aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing to our children.
Yeah. Microstresses. Lots of microstresses. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're not stressing them. So what I added to those 4 foundational movements is in the moment planning.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine that you've got the sympathetic nervous system, the fight and flight. At one end, when that lion's in the room, you're aware of it.
Yeah.
You can feel your heart pumping. You know it's going to go there. At the other end of that sympathetic nervous system, I'm calling it a micro-arousal.
Yeah.
So we don't have circle times in our nurseries or anything like that. There's no group times. The children find their own starting point, and we use the Leuven scale of engagement. So like my daughter Tatiana, I'd say, Tatiana, how are you doing? And if she can't hear me, she's engaged.
Yeah.
She's micro-aroused. So her sympathetic nervous system has gone up as a micro limit, maybe 1 or 2 heartbeats a minute. And the skill of the teacher then is to introduce a micro challenge.
Yeah.
And because it's a micro challenge, it's what we call a U-stress, they solve it, and then you've got that loop, that micro challenge, micro stress reward loop coming in, and that's where the anticipation, the dopamine comes in there. So they anticipate the reward.
Yes.
And that's why they want to get up and they want to go to school. They want to enjoy that particular activity.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what the TDGS model is that the thought selector can only come in and choose that thought if you feel biologically safe.
Yes, yes. I think every parent wants to know how to create a truly brain-supportive childhood, and certainly it sounds like you are achieving that in your nursery schools, which is phenomenal. So I'd like to know a little bit more about the Willow's Way approach. Perhaps you can tell us how you promote qualities such as curiosity, kindness, resilience, are other than simply just school readiness. You know, we know that in some of the Scandinavian countries, children learn through play. Most parents have heard of the Montessori method. So how does the Willow's Way engage in terms of enabling the child to be a child and enjoy their childhood?
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's there's a couple of statistics that we need to sort of remember now. Is that children spend less time outdoors
Yes.
than prisoners.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, that's frightening.
It is. It's quite striking. So that's we try and engage with the children to get them tired. They should go home knackered, completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And so we have our own nutrition. We have kefir plus bananas as a source of inulin.
Amazing.
As part of that. But it's
Fiber.
communication. And this idea, I was just at a conference last week, they were saying about school readiness again.
Yeah.
And they're linking it to parental income.
Yeah.
Well, that's a signal. It's not a cause.
Yeah.
So parents that usually earn more are usually more involved in their children. So
But not always, but yes.
It's not always,
Yes.
but it's a signal.
Yes.
And so we know maternal inflammation activation causes more neurodivergence.
Yes.
And I think that the EYFS, in making children school ready, so if you're doing a circle time, phonics might be an example.
Yes.
There are 4 children engaged.
Yeah.
One is getting out. They're flying. They're getting that micro challenge, micro reward loop.
Yes.
And others using the Leuven scale might be at 3, sort of not really there. And others there. And we were told, that's okay, you'll get it tomorrow. Well, I suspect they're epigenetically being modified when that neural network is created to say, I don't feel safe doing this. And that we're turning them away. And so it's really important that the children feel engaged all the time and appreciated. Yeah. So we have a little mantra. It's just for today. So they start the day with, just for today, I'm going to be curious. Just for today, I'm going to hug somebody.
Oh.
Just for today, if I do well, I'm going to smile.
Yeah, lovely.
And it's like Hebrew learners. It's if you are what you become what you do all the time.
Yes.
So when you repeat that every day, that's who they become.
Yes.
They become confident. They become resilient.
Yes, that's wonderful. And Nutritious Minds podcast is going to have a special episode on education and neurodivergence. We mentioned neurodiversity earlier. There is a difference between neurodiversity and neurodivergence. It's an important distinction, and we will be addressing that on our next episode. But going back to nutrition, and perhaps in direct relation to neurodevelopment, when I was at school, we had home economics and we had the nutritional sciences. We had gardens where we could grow our own vegetables, and I think there's a piece missing now because home economics has by and large been removed from the national curriculum. Many gardens...
Food technology, sorry to interrupt. I was doing my teaching practice at the time.
Yes.
And the head teacher was ever so grateful that Sainsbury had paid for, so it saved him a staff salary, someone to teach food technology. They were designing pizza packets.
No, I think
they weren't teaching them anything at all. And Michael, you have always said as well, it starts with education. And education about food and also about nature. So Rachel, I'm delighted that at your school, they didn't do it at mine, growing, even growing cress and mustard.
Seeds,
you get to learn, isn't nature miraculous?
Yes.
Isn't,
You're absolutely right.
The biology, the biochemistry, and again, Professor Margaret Raymond always used to show a slide. Here we have exactly which nutrients are in, the compost or the medium in which we are growing. And you see the height differential. But the food industry, big agriculture, you said, of course, Michael, the post-war period, they threw away the knowledge that had got us through World War II when we were never healthier and fish and seafood wasn't rationed and it was the simpler food. But it all went in this industrialised, ultra-processed, profits for
feeding the masses.
But I find is the link with nature and learning how things grow. That's something, and even on a windowsill, even in, whatever your socioeconomic status and so on, and to have more charities, support groups, schools, churches. I am just a bit disillusioned now about government and where our taxpayers' money, the lobbying that goes on that seems to prevent.
Can I just, because you've made a really important point. I didn't take up on this, a metaphor of that we've industrialised childhood.
Yes, absolutely.
Imagine the process. What we've done is taken the educational methods that we use for adults and older children and imported it into the younger children where they're emergent. They're trying to become human first. And the title of the talk would be, we're not born human, we become human.
Yes.
And the industrialization of childhood is like, the process of making metal boxes. It's going to take molten solder, heat, hammers, and really bashing around it. If you use that same process of making metal boxes for wooden boxes, you're going to get splinters, you're going to get broken boxes. Well, those wooden boxes are the childhood brains, the experience expectant brains, and we're treating it as though they're experience dependent, and we're destroying them, and we need to change.
I'd say for adults too, to be honest, hence again the rates of stress, depression, anxiety, got much bigger pictures here. But as for what anyone could do, learning about some of these really basic, simple things. There is in the sort of medical nutrition, somebody, Rachel, relax, eat, move, sleep. And the other, social skills and socialising. We know as well that, in psychiatry and medicine, it's a bio-psycho-social model. The only one you're going to get, and I'm glad there's now parliamentary groups called Beyond Pills, people think biological means drugs. Excuse me. Biological starts with understanding the biochemistry, Michael.
It really does.
It really does.
When I was
and psychological, social are also, eating together, preparing food together, growing something.
When I was a child, we were taught how to fish. We were taught. We had nutrition lessons. We had cooking lessons.
Incredible.
And when I was at university, the most favourite Saturday evening was Athol Crescent. Athol Crescent was a place where they taught teachers how to teach nutrition and home economics.
Amazing.
And we used to go there because they had all the best girls there. And on Saturday evening, and they closed that down.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael.
But it's also interesting.
The deliberate action to close down the whole system of nutrition education that was present when I was a child.
Yeah, you talked about this in the brilliant webinar you did for Fab Research.
All right.
We called it Feeding Humanity. But yes, I was going to, mirroring really, what should a childhood school, I was remembering, Michael, so thank you for bringing it in, what you told us then, you see, about the school you were at. And it's all gone now. That is not.
The cooking lessons were absolute favourite, I tell you.
It's interesting that the blue zones mirror those 4 things of nutrition, movement, gratitude, and community.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've come to the end of our podcast on the future of brain health. I would like to close with one sentence from each of you. So, Alex, what is one thing we must now do to protect mothers and babies as the foundation of future brain health?
I think everyone should get a copy of Michael's books and or watch some of the video clips, because you can't sum up with one thing.
Yes.
And it's something that if you, I'm going to use the metaphor, plant the seeds early, people will want, with the curiosity, so on, they will want to keep learning.
Yeah.
And unless we keep learning and learn from whatever life deals us, and it can include dreadful things, awful things, stressful things, but the resilience.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from just never giving up hope.
Yes.
Linking again different areas of expertise, and that means real communication.
Absolutely.
Between real people. And thank you, Rachel, for arranging that instead of us all being on Zoom webinars, and so on, we're around
actually
the table.
together.
We've all learned
communities, building communities.
Exactly. So real life.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's a fantastic answer.
Get real.
Yes, get real and ditch ChatGPT.
Ditch the screen time.
Yeah.
It's just not on.
Yeah.
And adults are doing it as well. So mums, please put down, lock away, do not use, and pay attention to your
time.
That in early development, it is terrifying.
Like you
that
said,
children are gazing at screens. Nobody is mirroring back and interacting with them. But eating, you see, and feeding, that's why even breastfeeding as opposed to bottle, is the closeness and the touch and the other signals that are being exchanged between mum and baby. I know not everyone can. So let's get the best.
I mean, from a neuroscientific perspective, that early interaction activates mirror neurons, which we now know is critical for the later development of empathy. Yep. So if babies are unable to read the emotional expression of their mother, or they're being placed in front of screens, then they're not getting that critical, sensitive period in which empathy develops, and that may be problematic later in life. But we could talk about this all day. So back to my one question. So Kevin, I know there are 100 things, but unfortunately you can only say one. So what must we change in children's environments if we want to build healthier brains?
I think just be present.
Be present, definitely.
That's, we go around the world and we take pictures now in every restaurant, and there'll be a mother, there'll be a family of 4 at the table, all on their phones. Yeah. And it's not so much the social media for the children, it's actually the parents not being present.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a fantastic. I think time is the most precious commodity or gift that you can give another person, especially your children, because it goes very quickly. Okay,
in relationships too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all kinds of relationships. So, Michael, final message to the next generation about the future of brain health.
There was a meeting in Washington with the military, and Vice Admiral Carmona said, at the end of it, he was chairing it, "We don't have time."
We don't have time. Wow.
We don't have time. If you look at the declining IQ curve that University of Bradford has published, by 2060, 50% of the global population will be mentally retarded unless we lose. This is the biggest crisis that humanity has faced ever. It's much more serious than global warming. Mm-hmm. And if we don't get to grips with it, it's the extinction of we will be responsible for the extinction of humanity.
But there is something we can do about this. And you two have both summarized it, Rachel. It's about how do we spend our time?
Yes.
Let's spend it just enjoying each other's company. You don't need, I loved your example of you bought the screens and your children had, and then you realised the most important thing they need is their father's time, attention, presence. And
Absolutely.
I think any parent can give that, or carer, or, again, aunt, uncle. This is about the social function. And again, they revolve around food, or they did do in traditional, instead of, graze, eat individually. Eat together, play together, talk to each other.
It's so important because all children want is their parents' time. And one of the things that they will remember as adults is how much time they had with their parent. So that's really important. So Michael, on behalf of all of us, thank you. Thank you for your science, your courage, your originality, and your lifelong defence of the mother and the child. Thank you for personally training and guiding me during my PhD journey. It kind of makes me choked up. Your kindness and generosity will never be forgotten. It's forever imprinted in my heart. You have helped shape my scientific understanding of nutritional biochemistry and brain health. And you've helped us all understand that brain health is not abstract. It begins in the womb. Even preconception. It begins with the mother. It continues through childhood, education, food systems, mental brain health, community, as you said, Alex, and the choices we make about how we protect future generations. So at 95 and 96 in July, your work is not simply behind us, it's ahead of us. So may I take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday for July. Happy birthday, Professor Michael Crawford. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. I have been privileged to be involved with this, and particularly with you. And what more can I say than God bless you, and let's hope the message gets through. And it's up to you, young people, to get that message through. Otherwise, we're finished.
Thank you, Michael.